starting to grid up and get prepared for tonight's race. Darlington gets herself
I
prepared,
can't
and
see.
It's going to be Gavin Rogers top of the board for the 75. Zach Hall will start to his outside. Ryan Kelly will be in third position for the 3. Drew Jua coming off his win last week. Going to be starting at 4th place with the 7 of Douglas Newbegin in 5th.
Hey, Derek. So, apparently, trying to make it to the checkered flag on a white flag condition backwards is deemed reckless driving.
We find ourselves with Ken Campbell.
And then rolling off in 11th position, your pick, Shane Tarian, Tom Senchek, P12. 13th is going to be Chris.
Even though I was driving it backwards.
In the 14th position, Aaron Smith the second, rolling off.
I do agree.
Alongside Vincent Sora, coming from the 16th position, Nick Crawford going to be at the 17th and 18th spot. Going to be John Forbes Jr. 19th going to be Bronson Stafford, who we were watching in warm-ups, and Ed Shearer Jr. rolling off in 20th position.
We fall down to 21st place, where we find the 28 of Brian P. Johnson. Andrew
you and Ed Shearer's in the back. Holy cow.
12. GT Reserve.
Yeah, there's like 8 people with penalties.
Andrew Medlin's back there.
24, Volley Fonseca. 25th, Joshua Kanata. I know he's been a lot of worry.
One guy got penalized so hard he can't even race tonight.
Wow. He needs to get up front to battle with. The Moniz will be in 26th. Tyler Dangler, 27th. 28th, we find the 4 of Justin Forbes. Ben Keeney, going to be in 29th for the 98. Cody Reed in 30th. Christopher Norris.
So I guess when Carl Edwards wrecked, got out of the car and ran across the start stripe on foot, that was reckless running.
Qualify. We will see a lot of the drivers that were up
that's a bannable
to the back again. Drivers with incident points or end of the line penalties for them.
Well, good thing you didn't do that.
Ben Keeney will be sent to the end.
Thought about it.
Brian McCann will be given its DOL. Cedric Hunter, Gavin Rogers.
Got your AI guy out of the car and had him run across the line.
I'll do it.
Given end of the line penalties for the next race that they show up for. A majority of those drivers that we know can be quick, all qualified inside of the top 10. Justin, this is going to be one of those tricky spots where we've seen fast drivers sent to the end of the line, trying to make their way forward. Usually causes incidences and cautions. I'm curious if that's going to be a similar mixture that we see here tonight.
It will be.
Oh, looks like somebody else got a penalty too.
That's going to all play out. It's also going to be fun because there's times where Darlington, often I've been in races where Darlington seems to somehow get a green flag run going to it, and I know we'll have the stage, but I mean, starting in the back, you got to kind of be careful. You don't want to get too far back there and then not be able to make up enough spots if there's not that many cautions, because this track can get hard to pass and it can get spread out. Once those tires get old, it's just really hard to.
They just click buttons.
As drivers are going to be trying to go to the end of the line, I think we're going to be for an extended.
Ford just put himself in the wall
this evening. So again, a relook at the points here tonight. It is all
38.
Sora it's going to be at 7th in points. He's got a 9-point advantage over the cutoff line of Cedric Hunter, Aaron Smith second, and Shane Tarian that are all tied back in 13th in points. And then you've got John Forbes Jr. He's
stage at 30.
He's been practicing a lot.
150 laps.
Prepared for this.
70 something done on fuel. It's like 71 maybe.
Got that advantage, of 4 points. Cinch got a 3-point advantage.
Sounds about right. Maybe a little less. Your teammate in the 3, Ryan Kelly, he's on pole. The 32 years outside is going to be Zach Hall. Newbegin, Jua, and Bourne's going to be the top 5. Lights on the pace car are out.
And then try to race.
We're going to get this done, Brian.
I mean, this has got to be such a grueling task, Justin.
There were so many talking. I missed all that. My bad.
Laps to make sure you're in the top 10.
Tires.
Stage points most important.
Yeah, they'll last.
That's the first thing you got to do. You got to get those stage points tonight. Even if you get 1 or 2 points.
I had to turn the broadcast down. That was a little too loud.
Goes a long way. But if you have the opportunity to stay out, maybe if a caution comes out before the stage, you might have to do it. Gamble. It's going to be really interesting.
Our pace car's off.
Guys in the back who need points, what can they do?
Oh boy.
It's going to be really important because that stage is going to come up, and before you know it, it's going to.
Here we go, sir.
Because we're about to go.
Just stay patient. Keep your wits about you. Let's go. In the restart zone.
Watch out for Gavin Rogers.
Go.
Ryan Kelly will be your front row as we get prepared for some racing action here at Darlington. 3 flags.
4 cars outside.
Trying to get a little bit of a better push. Is going to be on the outside.
You are clear up.
Jua going to be giving a massive push to the.
I'm watching the cars in front of you.
Zach Hall.
This place is notorious for wrecks.
Throwback scheme, so the drivers as well going to be having their own
outside
here this evening.
One car gone down low.
From Ryan Kelly, and
he's going to try to keep it low. There, he did it. All right.
In trouble for Tom Board. He goes down to the apron.
You are clear up, sir.
Going to be able to save it. He's going to come up, but wow.
5 car now outside.
For everyone, that right there could have been catastrophic with how close the field was. You have to give a huge shout out and get down and slow that
clear up.
We have that battle up front still. Did Brian Kelly get back ahead of Zach Hall? No.
Single file, pretty much all the way back to you now.
Zach Hall leads lap number 1. A bonus point so crucial for himself. Here is the primary.
All right, you got a couple about 10 or 12 rows up that are double file. For the most part, single file.
That's teammate of the 07 of Brian Noel. Trying their best to hold strong on the outside and staying 2 by 2. Difficult to do here at Darlington. You don't want to stay sideways for too long. That's losing time for one, but also you could find yourself squeezing each other into that outside wall as, in a sense, right on board with John Forbes in the 11 machine. He's got Nick Crawford as well as Vincent Sorgin.
16 outside.
They're going to be almost 3 wide going into turn.
He gave the 14 a little bit of a bump.
Squeeze.
A little bit of rub on you, but you're all good. No harm, no foul.
That fiasco to keep it together, but for how long is they graze?
Clear up.
John Forbes off the 4.
This track's not wide enough to do 3 wide. You can't even do 2 wide. Very hard going through the corners to even do 2 wide. You can see right here to groove.
Outside, right front.
There, get down to the bottom right here to exit the corner to slide back to that wall. And then you got to get blinded by the sun.
Clear up.
Look at this view right here.
Outside.
Drivers, they cannot see that well getting into turns 3 and 4. That's
16 tag the wall just a little bit. You're going to have a little bit of momentum. 75's with you. Going to give you a little bit of a shot here.
The field here this evening. It will
16 right rear. Right rear.
At some point
clear.
This race, and all these drivers know it's just a waiting period before the sun drops behind the grandstands, and you're not really staring down that barrel of this blinding light just out of turn number 2 as both Edward Short
16 is pushing hard.
Furthest back of any other driver coming into tonight.
I overdrove that turn.
His task was going to be the most difficult. 9 points back from the cutoff line where Brian.
Yeah, he overdrove it big time.
Overdrove it worse.
Into the evening. Where they run right now, though, with how Brian McCann is dealing with the penalty of being sent to the end of the line, right in 22nd position, it's still wide open for the 71 to try to make a heroic charge to gain major points here tonight.
It is wide open. It's still early in this race. We're only lap 6. Still got over 140 laps to go. Anything can happen, but most importantly, he's got to try to get up there inside the top 10. It's going to be very challenging.
You were faster than those around you 2 of the last 5 laps. You're kind of alternating times, but you're starting to reel some of the guys up front back in.
Drew Jua trying to
got to figure out how to save that right front a little bit more.
Yingling in that red machine, and Drew is
leader's last lap was a 29.6. Yours was a 37. So doing really well.
A little unknown on what we're going to see as he's gotten his victory last week.
Got behind me, he's doing the high-low cut, which is pretty fast.
A little bit more patient, assist his team at possible.
It is.
Try to help Edward Sherwood Jr.
Now you're going to have to be patient here.
Right now, settled in 3rd, watching Kelly Hall.
75 looks like he's pretty much committed to you.
Center of the corner, and that's where the main speed is. And I'm curious, Justin, if you've heard any different, but I heard a lot of drivers talk about the
inside
where speed's at. Inside lane, if you can make it work.
Good job, sir. Way to not eat the wall.
Just feel like anytime I would run down there, I always prefer to run down on that inside line. Hit it at the tires. Maybe I feel like the updates are always changing, but that outside line, you definitely get that momentum coming out of the corner. I don't know. I tell you what, Sam, Darlington was never my strongest track, so I can't give the best feedback. These drivers, I think they're going to be figuring out what we're going to watch, what Zach Hall's doing, Ryan Kelly, Drew Jua.
Oh, you just ain't got no grip when you're behind somebody like that.
Kind of give us a hint to where it seems right now.
That's why he's doing what he's doing.
And he's cutting down low, coming out of that corner. He's making moves forward, passing a couple cars after starting in the back. Josh Granada there.
He's going low and then hitting the brake late, hitting the apex, and getting back on the throttle.
At some point, he wants to make sure he's
just follow him.
Some of our top 11 moving forward as you're seeing Gavin Ross.
16 left rear.
In his way
inside door.
The field curtain.
You should have the charge off the corner. You do clear.
For 21st position. So we looked at Edward Shore Jr. runs at 13th, the furthest back in all points. Gavin Rogers is the driver that has the most points entering tonight. He had a 28-point buffer to work with. And he's hoping that he can continue to move forward. Saw one driver lose all of his track position. That means
double wide behind you.
He was trying his best to move forward for himself.
16's trying up high. He's got nothing. You are clear up.
Battles back and forth as he's right on board with the 13 center runner. He's watching Tom Horn trying to carve his way forward, get these positions back that he lost after that being pushed off into the apron on lap number 1.
You're seeing.
There you go. Good run off.
Drivers in front right here, running
right front.
A little bit of slight contact in the
door.
Really trying to really hard to get the track positions here while the tires still have some grip. We're seeing right here to move to the inside, but there's that.
We're going to be even off.
You're going into the corner, just kind of plays with your eyes.
Drag race down the front stretch. Right front.
There. It's the new 6 machine. Now he's going to lose that momentum in a corner. Will this open up? He's going to block to the inside. But that's the problem, Sam. You go to make a move. If you can't make that move, you lose that momentum. Now you put yourself at risk of losing another spot.
Yeah, you can lose a spot going into the next corner, or just find yourself trapped behind drivers that just were not able to make any passes at this moment. As Cedric Hunter
power down on the exit,
side by side. Goodness, Joshua Kanata is watching Ryan McCann, and these are all drivers that need to get moving forward because they can be losing out of touches and big points as we are closing in on.
There you go.
Before stage is over. Stage break comes.
I wish I could pass them on the other straightaway.
30 to drivers are going to get bonus points. You win the stage.
There you go. You're clear up, sir. And now the 16's got to deal with them.
8 points and continues to drive.
Great pass, Brian.
10th position where you only get 1 bonus point, but it could be that crucial. We had 3 drivers tied for 13th in points coming into tonight. That's your cutoff just outside looking position.
Right now, as we look on screen, what I'm seeing as a 9 kind of gets up there in the wall a little bit. It just seems like these drivers are kind of stuck. Look, they're all the same distance apart. It's just there's not a lot of passing opportunities on this track. It kind of gets really challenging and seems like they're all running that same speed. I mean, this is like a single file parade right here. And these drivers just can't really pass, Sam. And it's going to put the emphasis on really making sure you hit those pit roads tonight. And you can't lose time. You can't lose track position tonight. You got to try and gain a spot here, a spot there.
16 just put himself in a wall. Lost a little bit of time to you.
Are recognizing it's going to be difficult, and that's why we put so much emphasis on qualifying and how important it was going to be, and the unfortunates of drivers that were sent to the end of the line because of their penalties from last week at Talladega, and how it was going to change up everything. One driver, though, that has been heavily damaged after slamming the outside wall, Ben Keeney, tonight. Going to be a little bit quicker into pit road as he's got required damage for the 98 machine. But up front, it is
good exit coming back to you.
Zach Hall.
Haven't got screwed there.
A second ahead of Ryan Kelly and Drew Jua, and the rest of the field trying to figure out.
Yeah, but even the
and then how do you
Andrew Midland on the bottom, he got a good launch off, and you reeled him in too. You got a real good launch there.
You think maybe
all right front
after the stage settles in
outside,
get in another long run, because I feel like Darlington's
right front still there.
Sets you up for those long runs.
Side clear.
Maybe 30, 35 laps into a run when drivers really start having trouble handling that car. Maybe we'll start seeing some big time comers and goers in the field, but right now they are just so close to one another here. 18 laps into this run, we got 12 to go before the stage, but very challenging to pass on this type of track right now.
Extremely challenging. I think it also puts you in a spot where you would like to go for a pass, as it's got to be a mistake, as you saw there. Chris Dentz, just a little bit of a wiggle, giving Tom Sinchek a chance to dive it down low, trying to go for this pass for 8th position. But if you can't confirm that your guy on that snap on move is going to work,
he got the wall
back in the line like we just saw there. Tom Sinchek.
Yeah, but you get a really good launch off on exits too.
Quick path.
Don't take anything from yourself.
Blink of an eye.
Yeah, especially that entry to turn 1. Your
leader's last lap was a 29.73. Yours was a 29.95. So you're still running times close to the leader.
A little bit higher. They're almost able to block that move. They slide down there below the white line, going to turn 1 and 2, and it just seems like that took away a passing opportunity that used to be almost guaranteed at this track back in the day.
Yeah, it really was. I feel like a lot of drivers also, I was talking with them and trying to get a sense of what tonight's racing could be. And a lot of them said, trying to go for a pass into turn number 1, it's going to be very difficult, very risky.
4 over the wall there.
Especially later on in the run as Tom Sinchek's trying another chance to get below the 17 and has to back out but it's more so going into turn number 3, where you've got the best opportunity. But you have to make sure you get a good run out of 2 to attempt that pass, but that's going to be your best chance because of the hard braking. Drivers are downshifting into turn 3. It's a way to try to outbrake
8 to the stage.
Maybe even a chance to go for at least a pass here late in this run.
I'll go ahead and set you up.
10, make it now 9 laps to go before.
Yes, I'll give you a windshield tear off.
Your top 10 drivers.
You're the man.
Solidified at this moment. The battle for 10th place is between the.
Nah, Derek's the man. I just sit in this chair.
Are they downshifting?
And John Forbes Jr. right behind them. Both drivers.
They
It's
are.
possible.
Big point.
Yeah, everybody is. Holy crap.
Under pressure right there. 71 edge.
Okay, I didn't practice that.
Get into that 11th spot and then maybe
Makes sense, though.
up there in battle. Aaron Smith and that would be so important for the 71 machine. He really wants those points. They're right there in front of him.
Me getting to the practice late where I couldn't exactly ride along for a while.
Challenging to pass. This is where it could get a little pushy. These guys might.
75 helped you earlier, probably paying back a little bit. There you go.
Almost being spun off the nose. Edward Sherwood Jr. really dove it in the lap prior into turn number 3. Luckily for John Forbes, didn't make contact. But
Nice exit.
Some slight differing on the
61 outside, right rear.
Bronson Stafford and Gavin Rogers. This is battling going on for
Right front, right front, right
Oh.
front.
They continue to go.
There you go. Good checkup. Good job.
It's going to be where as Brian McCann now is going to move forward and
All right, 3 wide, in and out.
contact.
You are clear up.
It's a 61. Stafford keeps it in line, and that gives opportunity for a couple of more drivers to go for some.
I didn't think I touched him,
3
but
wide for a quick.
said I did.
Hunter's able to make the move forward and
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
used up, and he might get used up a little bit more. Is going to be seeing Andrew Medlin, Stafford rubbing against one another off the exit of 4.
Yeah, right now, Brooks Stafford's got to be getting a little frustrated. Right now, 2 laps in a row, drivers getting into him. But this is right here. We're at that point. 25 laps. I'll mark it down, Sam. It seems like these guys are starting to slip and slide. And with the track being so narrow, you kind of slide right up into anyone who's on the outside of you.
And Aaron Smith, second as that action was going on, has fallen back to 12th position. John Forbes now moves up to 10th place. He's been trying to go for a potential pass on Tom Sinchek. Edward Sherwood Jr. is right on the back bumper.
I think this track ain't made for 2 wide.
This group continues to be in line.
It's really not.
Seems to be looming as each lap goes.
Touching is expected.
Drivers look to be breaking tight. Some look to be loose off the exit. And Justin, this is looking bad for some drivers. The patience level is dwindling away. 4 laps to go left in this stage once that call crosses the line again. And drivers know it's crunch time to make some passes as Sherwood Jr. giving it a little bit of a bump to the 11 down into turn number 1.
He's hitting that right there. He was really pushing John Forbes. Wanted to make sure he enters side by side so it could give him a chance.
Hope I didn't get no damage off of that.
That's around Chris Dis. That's a valuable point. Can he do it?
I'm checking it right now.
Under 4 laps to go. He's
You barely kissed it.
inside the top
All right.
10. The 71 wants those points. Every point's going to be very important for him.
71 wants that.
I was trying to see if I can get a run on him, and tire gave out.
Outside that top line as the stake by Stitz gives up.
Nope, not even a scrape.
Go for a blitz pass to 10th place. And Aaron Smith the second will be to the inside for 11th position to get by Stitz. And Stitz continues to falter backwards as we stay green. 3 more laps to go before the stage.
That's true, Derek.
And the fights for that final bonus point. They're not done just yet.
They are not done. I think it's valuable to say that throughout this night, we'll be looking around.
But look at this whole pack coming back to you, Brian.
Start to see the tires.
I mean, you're running really competitive laps.
Group and race single file, all of a sudden, ones that pushed a little too hard, they're now starting to really fall off, and that's what we'll be talking about throughout this race, is to see drivers are getting side by side even more now back in the middle of this pack.
As you're seeing Nick Crawford trying to figure out how to get by Brian Noel. That's a battle for 13th position. Zach
Is it even worth going for it here?
on it.
All right, so you're going to have to use a little bit of patience here.
They continue to get squeezed.
I don't think it's
No,
worth it.
not at all.
In fact, just waiting to happen. If someone gets into that outside wall,
Just hold your position, though.
drivers have to react accordingly to make sure they don't run into one another. But this is it, the final lap of the stage.
Yellow should fly here.
Pretty solidified as Zach Paul looks confident up front. Not a lot of other passing moves and opportunities are there out on track as the 32 exits turn number 4. Your stage winner here tonight goes the 32 with Zach Paul.
All Ryan Kelly in second. Larry Young able to get around.
Good job. Yellow's out.
Third.
You're all set.
New Big in fifth. Ken Campbell in sixth. Great run for him. Shane Terrian seventh. Simchek eighth. John Forbes.
Just stay on the back bumper of the guy in front of you.
Able to get in
that way you don't give him anything on pit road.
I wasn't looking at my mirror. I was trying to get around.
Able to get those
inside.
Thank you, Derek.
And,
coming across the line. It will be Ed Sherwood Jr. Last point. John Forbes, 9th. Goes to Tom Simchek. Shane Terrian gets that 7th place position, and Zach Hall, Ryan Kelly, Larry
I don't know if I was there. Like
Douglas Newbiggin and Ken Campbell will enjoy those top 6 spots. That's the way the points.
Remember, the brakes on the next gen are
over
not the best.
I mean,
so don't stop too early. Don't stop too late.
25. That was
right.
the lap.
Let me have my spotter back.
Shake up.
Try to hit the signboard.
Difference of those that
yes, sir.
And I think I'm 7th.
Really falling apart.
So I'm looking for the 7th grid.
Stay on track.
And we really saw the strength of what Zach Hall was able to do.
You are 7th, yeah. You're down 14 spots right now.
While leading the race the whole time, so he's got a really good car, short, medium, and long run. But right now it's going to come down to pit stops. It's going to be very key. So right now, hit the box, cannot lose any spots, and we know everyone's taking 4 tires. There's no reason anyone's going to even gamble, consider taking 2 or 0. Maybe they'll prove us wrong, but I don't foresee it at all tonight.
With someone who's further in the back, maybe think about staying out for an extra lap, and like a Joshua Kanata who's already so far back, stay out, take the wave around the end of the line penalty since you're already back there, just to get that bonus point. Looks like no one's willing to take that gamble and risk. It's going to be Zach Hall.
I'm not sure, Derek. Probably the stream. I didn't see anything.
Pit road as drivers are taking off further back.
All right, ready. Come. Don't speed.
Waiting for his service to be completed. Well, the driver's racing forward, and it's Hall. Will be the first driver right up.
That kind of looked like
Larry Yingling and Ken Campbell, your top 5 exiting the way.
You made 1 spot. All right. You went in 21st, come out 20th.
This evening,
I have to be a little bit more easy on the tires.
Your stage winner. We will try to bring up our stage winner, get his thoughts on tonight's race so far. We are going to see if we can queue up the 32. Zach Hall, it's Sam and Justin up in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, stage winner. I know you're the driver that got the pole. You got sent to the other line. You kind of took control immediately. What's it like being up front? Because it looks like you're making it look smooth sailing so far.
Really good, man. This track has not been my strong suit in this car lately, and did a lot of practice this week and found something.
So what do I do here?
Whatever it is, it works. I kind of really don't have to even save. I kind of can just go, and my tires just don't seem to fall off here tonight. So I'm hoping the track stays the same, but glad to see. I know Ryan.
Zach's got tire hacks.
I think we were building a pretty big gap from behind that.
Like, I didn't, and I don't.
Zach, you were building a big gap back there. Third place was about 3.4 seconds behind, so that was really impressive. It seems like you had the short, medium, and long run speed. Like you said, the track's
all right, sun's starting to set. Track 10, 88, 82 air,
line penalties are coming.
7-mile-an-hour wind.
You're going to be worried about
sim time 7:38.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin, when we tied in qualifying,
that might help too. Derek.
That one's the one that playoff point because I just made a little mistake in that lap, but I know he's going to be quick. I was looking at the averages in practice, and he was kind of the person I was rivaling my longer run speed, so I know at some point I'll probably see those guys. I imagine we'll get a few cautions to bring them even closer, but as long as we can keep track position at this place, it's a huge benefit. So I would love to see it go green all the way to the end because I feel like that puts me in the best position.
I mean, Zach, we look at the patterns of this series this season. It seems like when we have a clean stage, it does turn into sometimes a caution-filled race after that with all the pressure gaining positions. Are you nervous about this race potentially turning into that caution-filled event later on?
Yeah, I do get nervous then because it's just a little bit more, nobody was really going 100% there. So when it gets like that, I don't really know if I have
with everybody else
to hold everybody off, but I think if we have long runs, I think that's where I'm going to have my benefit. So hopefully, they'll stay away and we can stay out front.
I never.
All right, well, Zach, we're going to.
I love that word.
Good luck, and hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of the night.
Thank you, guys.
That's going to be your snow racing driver in the 32 of Zach Hall. You're also your stage winner for tonight. Justin,
I know what I'm
stage is
saying.
over.
I get a
We
black.
got ourselves 115 laps to go here tonight.
I may need another black.
Derek, I don't know, and I ain't asking
I
questions.
think it's about to get crazy on this restart.
Been on pit
Yeah, I
road
think
last
what
week,
Sam,
yesterday.
or I'm
Last
sorry,
week.
what Zach Hall just stated is very accurate.
All right, bro. Pace car is
I want
off.
the inside.
Knowing that this is a long.
Let's get ready to roll.
Yeah, they wanted the points, but they also didn't want to damage their car like last week until they
Coming to the restart zone.
I think this next
Ready, ready, ready. Go, go,
a
go.
little interesting, and like Zach said at the end, a lot of cautions could be very problematic. But right now we got the restart. Zach Hall's going to choose the inside. Brian Kelly tunes out
61 outside.
Here's they are going to go green, and Zach Hall's going to get
I'll
a
need
huge
one
launch.
clear.
Check up, check up, check up. Go low, check up, check up, check up, check up, check up, check up.
By side battle.
There you go. Good job, sir.
Going to be taking the charge and fully
And
caution's out.
side by
Aaron
side, and it is trouble in the back. Yellow flag.
That ain't easy to do. This brake boss we're having to run.
Inside field caught up in this one.
Yeah.
Aaron Smith, the second, like
That just-
Justin,
Gave you a few spots.
trying his best not to be involved in this wreck, but it looked like some contact between Tom Sinchek and Edward Sherwood Jr. in front of the 70 got him in trouble to back off, and everyone else did not. They ran over Aaron Smith II and a couple of other drivers involved in this one.
I think you called it perfectly. We're going to see everything you said right on that replay. Great analysis right there. But you got
Got 2 spots.
for Aaron Smith because he was doing so great. Right here,
Yep.
this yellow car you're going to see, just like you were walking through, it's going to be right here in this. Yeah, right. Oh, you know, there's a guy in front of him there. Escher Jr.
Ooh, that's Aaron Smith too. He might have lost the motor off of that.
Tom Sinchek getting close to one another.
He could be, if he's out of the race, that's a
Let's
playoff
see.
driver dropping off.
Backed off.
Like,
the
he might be
70 and
out of
drivers
it
behind. Not
if he
even
blow the motor.
as quickly as they would hope, and running
Because
over
he wasn't high.
second.
He wasn't high up on the list.
But here's what initially kind of was the catalyst, and Sinchek just not able to hold steady.
Aaron's in 27th on track right now, pulling down pit road.
Chaos erupts behind him.
You know,
We'll see if he's got a meatball.
Darlington, I feel like, is so famous for this. It seems like you go out there and you get in this rhythm.
Tyler Dengler is on pit road. Chris Stitz is going down pit road also.
Corner, and I swear there's times where it almost feels slower for the first lap or two. Like the tires are so cold they just won't even grip the surface. Not sure if it's just like an iRacing type thing or if that's how it is in real life with Darlington, but I wonder if that's kind of what happened there. I mean,
Yeah, Aaron's definitely got some front end damage.
new tires, and really they were just wouldn't turn.
Did you hit the wall on the
As
way
multiple
by?
drivers involved in that incident, Chris Stitz comes into pit road to get service done. Aaron Smith II, who got most of the damage, will be going into pit road.
Chris Stitz's
So
car is
we get
clean.
ourselves prepared for this next restart. Going to be still Zach Hall up front, Brian Kelly second, third's going to be Douglas Newbegin, Larry Yingling fourth, in fifth.
Vincent Soares way back there too.
Track
He's-
temps down 2 degrees to 86.
I kind of was thinking I was going to predict that moment.
There's a few playoff drivers behind me,
Attempts to go for big runs, and
and then a lot in front of
it
me.
can backfire with these restarts because you only have a small time to make
Drew Jua, Vincent Sora, Aaron Smith, Chris Stitz.
the weather, because you can see
I think Drew's the one that's locked
And
in.
here's how the weather has changed
Just-
so far. The track temp has just been on a decline.
Yeah, there's
Practice.
there are a few on pit road.
One moment, the track temperature was at
I'm actually there.
98 Fahrenheit for the track temp. It's
Okay,
now
there
dropped to
any
86.
damage
So
anywhere
those
on
that have
my
practiced
car?
from the
I
very
don't think I
beginning,
touched that
and
thing.
now we're racing on a completely
wanna
different
make sure.
track, but it's the sun starting to set.
Oh, we going, Derek. Don't worry about it.
That shade is going to cool that track even
Yeah, I was
more,
gonna
I
say
would
the same
predict,
thing.
and that's
You're
just
just
going to
blinking
change the
every
handle of
once
these
in a while.
cars. We talked to our leader under the
other than that,
stage.
your car
He
is
was hoping the track kind of
perfect.
stays the same. I mean,
Trying to be a little smart about it.
but this is
Of
where
course, I ain't the fastest car on the track either.
become smart and be able to stay with everything. And we're here.
Make up 10 more spots and you'll be right where you qualified. It'll be a new race.
Track is just going to get
Yeah,
cooler
it's
and
not
cooler.
Yeah, that would be nice.
terrible. It's like milliseconds.
Drivers
you're
are
gone.
going to get
It's hardly even noticeable.
settled for this restart. Look at some of our biggest movers so far here this evening. Biggest one is Chris.
Derek, don't you know he can't focus forward? He drives backwards.
Also, John Force Jr., who runs 16th. I mean, in 6th is up 12 spots. And Edward Sherwood Jr. up 11 positions in 9th place. Some drivers that are still trying to recover after troublesome positions that they've been caught up in. Again, Aaron with the second, Chris Stitz, obviously because they were just caught up in this wreck, had to come into pit road to get service done, but both over double digits back from where they qualified. Same for Drew Jua, that's trying to make his charge forward after getting a little bit clipped up in some messes.
We got a speeder.
Tom Bourne who's on still his recovery run after the lap 1 incident that dropped him all the way to the end of the line. But we're stacking up, getting ready for this restart.
When are they going to give him an
You're going to
EOL?
restart with the 61 of Stafford to your outside.
On this restart.
There it is.
I know I kind of made that guess that we were going to see the over.
Yep, there it is.
But maybe with that quick caution after the stage could settle these drivers.
Yeah, I would think that hopefully they settle in. It's
Just give me the,
you don't want it to turn into
give me that spot.
be over because of an incident.
I'm moving on up.
All still out on track. There's a couple guys off the pace.
That's right.
Down. You see they're right there on
To the south side.
Down. Justin Forbes 11 laps down.
All right, buddy. P16.
I mean, I get it,
For
and
the
that's
most part,
fine.
Cody
Pace cars
Freeman,
off.
There was no
Tyler
black.
Dangler, a couple laps down as well. But for the most part, everyone's still out there. So
Coming up to the restart zone.
an incident and dropping back.
Ready. Go, go, go.
Detrimental to your points night. But we're about to go green, so these drivers need to settle in.
14's now outside.
For this restart as we are green. Once
You are clear up, sir.
Andrew Medlin getting ready for this restart further back in the field. He wants a good launch to make sure he stays at least in a decent position. But see in the middle of the pack, it is claustrophobic. It is feeling a little bit chaotic. And the
Run your race, hit your lines.
as he tries to go back up onto the track and everyone else blitzing on by. And Medlin, well, what a sight for himself. He's just watching everything.
They are all shifting. I'm going to have to start doing it, I guess.
Inside of our top 15
Yeah.
and now outside of our top 20.
Are they shifting here? Some guys are.
Loose right there or something coming out of the corner. Not sure if someone got into him, but he lost a lot of spots in time.
If you're good for a second, I'll ride along with the leaders, see what's going on.
So he's going to have to work and battle back up through here, but he's following some fast cars, so hopefully he'll be able to make moves as they make moves.
The drivers up front, Shane Terrian going to be stuck on the inside. He is in a position of watching a few drivers going on the outside groove and making these passes.
That's 3 wide.
And Shane Terrian have been staying side by side for a quit. Also behind them, going for a 3 wide.
They're back double, but they are door to door.
They will try to go 3 wide down in turn number 1. That's the back out of it. Luckily, but that was some heavy pressure. And Brian Noel, because of assuming he was going to go 3 wide, gets into Christopher Norris, who they...
All right, 13 inside,
Another
left front.
Rogers. He's hoping for a bad exit for both these drivers so he can attempt that 3 wide move once again.
He's clear.
3 wide and going into turn 1, very, very challenging, but he's got a fast car to 75. He's trying to make up all the ground on a restart.
I think it would be smarter to save tire and wait for the tire difference to get better.
He wants to get around both of them, but just right now, no.
Passing here is just going to kill my tire.
38
And this is going to be a long run.
for Norris contact.
But it was all the help.
Yeah, just be patient. 14 coming up.
No
You close the line on him.
And now the 75 has to settle in and look for an opportunity to find a chance to go for a pass. Christopher Norris enters here tonight just wanting a decent race for himself as we right on board, get a sense of what these hands are looking like on the steering wheel. You go in the corner and drivers ahead having some trouble for themselves.
They're 3 wide, about 4 ahead.
Norris getting close to a bumping. That's 74 and here
Double 2.
3 wide again.
Rose.
Noel's now
There we go.
down low. This shouldn't work. Norris hits the brake. Noel stays on the apron, and the 07
14 looking inside, left rear.
Dang it.
everyone backs off gently, and ooh, that should have been a wreck. But they keep it together.
You're good.
Clear. Able to slide right up there between Nick Crawford and Christopher Norris, because if not, he could have been stuck on the inside, and these drivers were all hungry to get around him on that outside. He made the move though, and that's the thing. He got the position. He fought hard, got the position. That was hectic as anything. I mean, Gavin Rogers had a view in front of him for that, but Nick Crawford getting into the wall, it seemed like he just could not get off the wall for that moment there, and it kind of stacked up the whole field.
Yeah, that's true, Derek.
Yeah, I don't know how they didn't wreck with the way that we saw Noel go down on the apron, the amount of speed.
All right, 5th gear all the way down the backstretch, going into 4th gear, going into turn 4.
Just a lane to give
Staying in 4th all the way through,
position, so we stay.
and getting back to 5th gear,
The drivers getting back
just past or just off the start stripe.
damage repair. Ben Keeney's been dealing with required
That's the leader.
Forbes and Tyler.
So 5th gear all the way through 1 and 2. Yeah, that's the leader. Yeah.
Having their own different storylines as they're multiple laps down. We're left with just 27 drivers on the lead lap that we looking for.
Downshifting to 4th again, going into 3.
In the 67 red machine, Shane Terrian in the 9 black and green.
Staying in 4th all the way through the exit of 4, and going back to 5th at the start stripe. There you go.
That battle for 4th place, I'm watching right there in the back of the behind this battle. How about Tom Senchek, the 26 car? he's running really good inside that top 10 and staying up there in these first 50 laps and hanging right with these guys, showing that he's got the speed. And I think back to some other races we watch, he's a driver who's not afraid to make those moves, Sam. He could be one to definitely watch out for. He's under pressure right here, though. He's going to block. Look at this. He's going to block the 71 of S9R Jr. trying to break that momentum. And he's going to maybe keep the position here as S9R Jr. is not going to have to run. Or is he?
And a little back, and it looks like for Edward Shore Jr. had to let off just slightly off the exit of the corner to make sure he didn't run into Tom Sinjak, but they'll stay in line for now. It's all about getting that good run off.
Get it, Cedric.
To give you a chance for a dive bomb move going into either turns 1 or 3, and the drivers all stay in line. But also banking on a mistake, as Darlington, one of the tracks that, you know, we're talking about setting up these passes, going for these massive runs, but I would say, Justin, it's also a track that's notoriously known for being a track that people say is you race the racetrack, you're not racing your competition most of the time when you're here at Darlington.
I really agree with that statement. It's so easy at this track to get baited into doing something that you shouldn't, and then you overdrive the car and you get up into the wall, and then sometimes your night's ruined when you start bending wheels. But right here, these drivers, as much as they want to race the racetrack, I mean, they're racing each other right now because they're all over each other. And this is going to be that crucial point in the decision-making. The drivers, it's early enough in the run so that you could be abusing those tires, and we get to that lap 20, lap 25, like we talked about. Are you going to pay the price? Well, is that going to be where you start really losing time to everyone else, especially these leaders?
And as these drivers are out on track, again, we did have that early caution that kind of is going to push out that window we're looking for. That's going to be that lap 25 green flag racing for the next, I would say, in the next 10 laps, around lap 60, if we stay green until that point, is going to be that lap 25 of green flag racing on this set of tires. And that's when we'll truly see who's been protecting, who's able to attack and go forward. But for now, the front pack all on top of one another, our top 8, keeping it close, all within 2 seconds of one another. One driver, though, that is almost inside of our top 10, who grabbed the pole officially.
It is single file all the way back to you.
The EOL penalty carried over from last week. Gavin Rogers up to 11. The 75 is flying right now, as he is just 1/10 off of what Zach Paul's pace is, but the 75, he's got so much work to get by all this traffic. I think it's once we see that next pit stop that Rogers will really start to strike our top 7 to top 8.
And all the viewers that heard it live, Zach Hall, our stage winner, he talked about it. He was watching the times in practice, and he knows the average speeds are very similar. So if the 75 can't get to track position, if we do get another caution, he's able to get up there inside the top 6 on a restart.
Very nice centering off.
Looking in his mirror, maybe not seeing Ryan Kelly anymore, but it could be the 75 machine. But don't count out Ryan Kelly either, because trust me, there's times up here all season, Sam, where we've talked about Ryan Kelly thinking, oh, maybe it's not his night. And then all of a sudden we get deep into that run and he comes flying forward in a hurry.
Yeah, I think if Ryan Kelly keeps himself in this position, he's got a good chance. Here's a battle deeper in the field in 25th position. It's Dakota Moniz, Ollie Fonseca, drivers that
wouldn't turn down.
Friends.
No.
The Monday night ISRC series.
You've got to balance how close you are to the car in front of you.
The Labor Day weekend. These drivers are going to be trying to play nice, but
you're still staying pretty consistent with the leader. His last lap was a 71, yours is 69.
Position after his big slip up. Once was in 14th before the restart, fell all the way down to 27th position.
Don't let the 14 push you.
The drivers deeper in the field as
oh my goodness, did it again.
The back. This is that rough.
I think Cedric's slowing up.
You're okay.
Like Darlington, that wall becomes your best friend and your enemy at the same time.
It really does. Sometimes if you hit it just right, it might help, but other times
he was faster that time.
Beats the car apart. And you're seeing
maybe just had a bad lap. We all have one.
Having a solid night. You don't talk too much about him yet, but running.
That's a true story.
Outside the top 10 back there in about 16th position.
He's a little bit faster, less than a 10th though.
21st position, Vincent Soar. Is that the kind of night we were expecting out of that machine?
Well, the reason why Vincent Soar's so far back, he was actually caught up in that most recent incident that extended him in the back. He had to give up a lot of track time. A tough position for Vinny on the fact that he did not want to be dropped this far back. Also, He didn't qualify well. He qualified 16th. That is the thing that's the most shocking because Vincent Sora has won this race in the past.
Way to check up.
And they were in this
14 saw it too. He checked up.
in season 5. Vinny dominated that race. Complete and utter dominance. He led 145 laps of 210. He got the pole.
You got a pack of 5 coming back to both you and the 13.
Driver that entered here tonight, 3rd in points. He only had.
They're side by side, couple rows up.
Excuse me, misspoke there. With a 9-point buffer, Vincent Sora, our 2-time champion, could be in threat of missing out on a chance for a championship if he doesn't gain enough points and finishes inside of our top 15.
That's the challenge of this league. We talk about it being such a big league with so many drivers all season racing. If you have a bad night, you lose so many valuable points, hard to gain them back. And then tonight, being in a race, you got to hit it. There's so many drivers out there that can win, so you keep it safe regardless of how many points you come in. Having a 9-point cushion might feel good in other leagues, but this one, not with the competition. As we see right here, Doug is
good exit
on that outside line, trying to get a little bit closer to Ryan Kelly. Is he going to make that move and get up into second place and try and run down Zach Hall?
Another big bonus point that's out on the line. Most laps led. Zach Hall is aiming for the
right front.
If he gets past lap 76 and leads all those laps, he will take that crown of leading a lap. Most laps led. Those are big bonus points to be grabbed for Zach Hall on top of his stage win. Leaf Hall, with the amount of drivers that have shown up here tonight, with all those bonus points, will be finding himself in a position to be locked in just based off of points. So that's a big kudos to 32 on his performance. So
he's staying up. We're outside.
I know everyone's looking for that win. That's what they
right rear
want here at Darlington. I mean, this is one of those crown jewel tracks that so many drivers.
Clear up.
Look at the history of NASCAR racing and racing in general. This track, we talked about how odd it's shaped.
Good job, Ryan. I know that was a very narrow entrance.
Yeah.
Wider.
I was a little worried about that one.
Here to 3 and 4, much narrower. Got to slow down.
There you go.
But this course,
caution's out.
Drivers, they circle it. They say this is a track you care about, but hold on.
14th.
Trouble, and it's Nick Crawford involved in this one.
We need a longer green flag run, though.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get you all set up here.
Maybe starting to go away.
Not much you can do on a little short run like that. So it takes 30 laps. Well, I guess about 25 laps on a set of tires before we were able to actually do anything on track.
We're trying to get by the 74 Crawford, who was struggling. You've been on the outside. Watch out, though, on the entry of the corner. The 61 of Bronson Stafford. Attempting to pass, too much speed.
All right, let me give you your spotter back.
Outside quarter panel. Rich 74.
Catch up to the guy in front.
Oncoming traffic.
Don't speed.
Luckily, everyone avoids. That will bring out another green flag caution that will reset us. And this is that difficult spot. Yeah, I'm expecting everyone to pit, but these drivers have 4 sets of tires in pit road. Does someone risk or gamble taking 2 sets of tires here just to get some track position? Or do you all just take 4 and trust you've got a good solid machine underneath you that can get you up front?
That's a little interesting. Only 4 sets of tires. So right now these drivers are on their second set right now pitting, which means they have 2 left in the box. I mean, wow, Sam, we get another caution here in like 25 laps. You mean drivers can only have 1 set left for those final 60, 65 laps? That could be really interesting right there. I'm surprised some drivers in the back maybe didn't say,
ready.
Have a set just in case.
Come, don't speed.
Restart later on.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that as well, but it looks like everyone, it's 4 tires and a fuel.
All right.
As Hall, Kelly, New Big England going to be
14
with Shane Terry.
Give yourself another one.
Drivers that wanted to move up a little bit more. Gavin Rogers up to 9th place for the 75. Cedric Hunter up to 12th. Seeing some of those drivers that had end of the line.
Getting close to
moving forward. But
fuel strategy.
We're going to take our first commercial break as we're closing in on halfway. We will be back right after this for more great races.
93-96 that run, Brian. Much better.
WSSR Cup Series Season 9 playoff racing for the first round of the playoffs. It's the round of 16. We'll move to just 11 drivers moving on for a championship. We will be back right after this.
See, we can make it from lap 80.
Yeah. But with downshifting, you're going to burn a little bit more.
I can't actually tell downshifting is helping, but if they're all doing it.
When I said no, just as that caution came out, my I don't know if your screen froze or mine froze or what, but it said you appeared offline.
Huh. I'm not showing any dropped frames and these green bars.
Yeah, that's why I was like, no.
Hey, MP.
Yeah, it was like, it was really, really quick, and then it came back. Okay, so Derek's saying stream was fine, so must have been me then. A little bit of a hiccup.
Not a fan of the outside line.
All right, pace car is pulling off. Zach Hall is the leader.
Yep, Darlington.
Your teammates to his outside. Ready, ready, ready. Go, go, go. .38 now to your inside. You are clear. One down low. Clear him also. Pull back up. You're good. 38 now outside. You're clear up.
Caution.
Caution's out.
Trouble strikes further back in the field as
Now get that bottom lane.
Newbigging drifted into turn number 1.
All right, P13.
Further on back, having to slow up for themselves. This caution flag is thrown, and looks to be around the 15 machine of Ken Campbell. Finding himself being spun around, but big thing here, it's all going to start initially with the 7 snapping loose.
That's all it takes. Just one snap loose, and you're in the back of the pack having to do this all over again.
The exit just snaps loose, uncomfortable, and as the 7 drifts back up, the 15 to Ken Campbell,
True story.
as well as Joshua Kanata,
Literally
squeeze
one
into
mistake.
another, and it's Ken Campbell gets spun around, and with enough angle, we find that it's going to be a caution being thrown. Incident already when we come back. Crazy to see. As a replay is going to be showing another angle of this as we are back giving you coverage on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name's Sam Dyer. With me is Justin Malarkey, and Justin, right off of a restart.
Tell him, Derek.
Another caution underneath.
You hate to see it right after the restart. The 15, Ken Campbell, just right there. Joshua Kanata. You hate to see that, especially after a restart. These drivers on the fresh tires. It seems like everyone's maybe just misjudging the grip, but right there it seemed like maybe just a simple misjudge of coming up the track.
We ain't going fast enough back here to have the snap loose problem.
But right now, is anyone going to come in and top off on fuel, Sam? We were talking about it under the break there. We were thinking 70 laps in fuel, so right now that would be
That's a good
80 to 150 would be
not to have kind of a problem.
Top off now and ride around under here under caution. Can you save a couple laps of fuel and make it on not stopping anymore? It could be a strategy play for someone in the back. Maybe a driver like Joshua Kanata, who was just caught up in that incident.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of strategy points that drivers could take. I think that that's the one thing I've been kind of shocked about with how I think there's a little bit of fear of with how close points are to the cutoff line. You don't want to put yourself in a position that you can't get positions back. But with how close everyone is, you kind of need every bonus point you can grab. And I've been shocked to see not as many drivers went under pacing. I thought for sure when we had our first stage when we had our first attempts for drivers going to pit road. The drivers were going to take a chance maybe to stay out, lead a lap if you're further back in the field, but we never saw that. Instead, it's been Zach Hall leading every single lap. But so far this season, it's been a lot of some drivers willing to risk it, others not. But the 5 drivers have been really feeling confident entering tonight. It's been our top 5 currently on track. Zach Hall from Snow Desert Racing, he's been up front all night long. Same for the Yin Yang drivers of Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling. And then seeing John Forbes, he's had his just outside of the top 5 moments, but he's currently in 4th, and seeing as well the likes of Shane Terrian. He's going to be trying his best to stay up front with some big bonus points throughout the stage break. Shane was one of the 4.
All right, Brian, you're in 13th. You're only down 6 spots from where you qualified, so I have faith you're going to get up there and set sail.
Forbes up there.
Let's go.
Because he's been able to make some passes.
Need that long run.
It's something like he was running 11th or 12th. At first, he was up in that 9th, 10th range. Now all of a sudden, inside the top 5. So is he a driver who is going to continue to make his way up there? Is he?
I forgot to mute myself when I called that time. Y'all got to enjoy that one.
Curious too. With the lights turned on, the sun's fading away. We know the track's can cool off just slightly. And you talked about it, Justin, on who would be willing to top off maybe on fuel and get a little bit of extra in their tank to maybe try risking it a little bit further. Well, 2 drivers did try to come into pit road, a total of 4 actually. 2 that for sure just topped off on fuel, being Nick Crawford and Aaron Smith II, both just topping off on fuel. Ken Campbell and Andrew Medlin both had some slight repairs that they needed to get done, as well as getting some fuel topped in. And Cody Reed, who currently has 3 laps down, has been trying to get every lap.
85 track temps.
Currently, he also took some service.
It's on the far right top on my stream.
They're getting ready. They just got a quick restart with a quick caution. These tires are even colder than what they were before. But does that mean some drivers are willing to make some risky moves?
All right, buddy. Here we go. Ready. Go.
Ryan Kelly, your front row, ready to bring us back to the green here at Darlington. Your elimination race
51 outside
is back underway as we're soon to cross over.
Right rear, still there. Coming back up on you. Still right now, outside.
Corner continuing with this race. He's going to keep those drivers side by side behind him. Larry Yingling going to come out of
right front.
John Forbes is going to get in front of him.
Outside.
Not getting corner.
A little bit of a checkup on the bottom.
Spots stuck down on the inside, and that really hurt the 9 of Shane Terry.
Shane Terry.
You're clear behind him.
And see as he makes some contact with the 07.
Still clear up.
Brian Noel.
61 now outside. 51 tag the wall.
Yeah,
he's still going to be clear. You're clear up.
Paul is 2 laps away from taking the most laps led bonus point.
So fill that hole.
You love
there you go.
Every point possible to make sure if you somehow, for some reason, get caught in a mess later on in this race, you are still set with points you had entering tonight and the extra bonus points stage and leading laps. As Terry and Hunter Bourne, this is now going to become a battle for drivers just outside of our top 10 as trouble behind. Bronson Stafford goes scattering.
Single file for the most part, all the way back to you. The only place where it's double file is about B3.
With trouble once again, but with no oncoming traffic, we stay green. But all that lost time sends Bronson Stafford back to 27th position.
And just like that, John Forbes, he was trying to battle for Ryan Kelly and Vince had a little slip up. Now he's under pressure. Ed Shearer Jr. is going to drive up there in the 3rd spot. And don't look now, but we have a new 3rd place driver who's been slowly moving forward all night. Is the right time for Ed Shearer Jr. up to 3rd position. And also Tom Senchak having a great restart up to 5th position. These drivers are now making the moves.
It's been Lucky Ducks really just slowly chipping away, moving forward of Edward Shearer Jr. and Brian Roel. And Gavin Rogers, with having a 7 in his numbers, has kind of been moving along with them as Tom Senchak under fire from the 07 of Noel. But Edward Shearer Jr., that 71 machine, and Justin, we know desperation will kick in at some point. With Zach Hall leading every lap so far, he officially takes the most laps led bonus point for the 32 machine. However, everyone else is just looking for the bonus point of leading a lap if possible. That's going to be the big thing. Zach Hall's competition looks to finally be here maybe another caution, another set of tires, and they'll be right back into the mix for a chance to pressure this 32 that it seems like every restart we have, that lead, it's a little bit smaller on how big he blossoms it out.
And we know Ryan Kelly, a great long run driver, just getting through halfway through this race. He might not even be showing Zach Hall what he has yet. So that's something that the 32 might have to deal with later on as this 3. Look at this, getting into the corner, starting to flex that muscle, getting closer to the 32, keeping him in that mirror, making Zach look up and glance at him every so often. Ryan Kelly keeping that pressure, but he's got the pressure behind the 71 and Shearer Jr. as well.
Pressure for second place is underway. Edward Shearer Jr. here in his first attempt, going for second place, and he'll lose a little bit of a wiggle there with that loss of momentum. It's now giving a chance for a couple of drivers. Thompson Chick thought about going 3 wide. He backs out of it. John Forbes, so he's going to stay to the inside quarter panel of Edward Shearer Jr. And Noel, with that little bit of hesitation for the 26, thought he had a chance to go up moving for 5th place. They all get in line. No change in position. Certainly a dramatic lap that we got to see there.
It really is. It's like that accordion effect that we talk about. One driver loses the momentum, the other one pulls out, but not able to make the pass, and then it just trickles all the way back through the field because they're running so close together, especially with the temperatures cooling off. Maybe it's going to keep these drivers even closer together, and that's just going to cause for these tires to heat up and maybe potentially wear out even sooner with them racing harder. I would have to say, Sam, I think traffic down. Speeds are probably picking up a little bit, so that might just put a little bit more pressure on those tires.
I'm trying to see if I just can't save some, but
Pressure.
I can't figure out how to do it and not lose time.
One of our bigger movers of drivers inside of our top 10. Other big movers, Edward Shearer Jr. up 17 spots when we started. John Forbes up 14 spots. And
That's a lot to have to try to do.
They've all been moving forward from where they qualified. Behind Johnson, though, is Tom Bourne, who qualified.
With how tight these turns are.
All that track.
That's a lot.
After an early spin, he's up to 10th. Also behind them, you have Vincent Sora further back in 13th, and they're just keeping it close all around for this field.
We're right there on board with Brian B. Johnson. It sounded like he maybe slid up into the wall a little bit. Didn't really affect his momentum, but it just shows you they're running so close to the wall, and eventually sometimes it just kind of reaches out and gets you, and that's why they call it the Lady in Black. But Zach Hall right now is taming that Lady in Black. Half a second lead over Ryan Kelly now. We saw a little bit of pressure from the 3 in the beginning of this run, but now Zach Hall starting to cut that gap just ever so slightly. Ryan Kelly, he's really got the pressure from these drivers behind. He's got to be careful. You don't want to get past and then get hung up there maybe out of line, because these drivers right here, there's 3, 4 of them right behind. Ready
I think another thing, if I stay off his bump or something, it'll help me right front.
Trains of 5 to 4 drivers that really kind of get you in the weird feelings of one little slip up. It collect multiple.
It could, yeah.
Already multiple.
Get a little bit of clean air.
Maybe he can
Guy behind me's catching though.
avoid with how wide this course is, but everyone knows this Darlington track could collect multiple drivers if anyone gets.
He's been about 2.5 tenths back.
Kind of
for a while.
Progression that we're going to see for Edward Shearer Jr., save for Ryan Kelly and John Forbes. I mean, none of these drivers are considered safe with the way that they're running right now, because if Edward Shearer Jr. somehow gets by these drivers and wins, it can come down to 1 to 2 points on who's moving on from this collective group that we see up front.
Yeah, that's what makes it really, really exciting. And I feel like the 71 has a really legitimate chance to win this race. I think he's faster than Ryan Kelly right now. I think if he could get around him, he might run down Zach Paul. The question is going to be, is he abusing the tires right now? Is he running too hard on this car? That's something we're going to find out. We're going to find that out maybe in about 15 more laps. But right now, the 71, he's definitely got speed.
It definitely does, and they continue to stay as well as they can. This field, 86 laps in the books. So we are officially in the second half of this run, and
Lost a lot of time in 1 and 2 that time.
a lot looking for a chance here tonight. And again, talking about those that topped off on fuel as the wiggle up the exit of the corner, I'm looking at Aaron Smith II, Nick Crawford. Both those drivers topped off. They're still,
It didn't get entry correct for some reason.
maybe this is a strategy.
Last lap.
Save fuel, run a little bit slower than what the rest of the pace is, because you know tires are going to be important, fuel's going to be important, but it just
Make it up this lap. 1 and 2 is definitely easier to make up time than 3 and 4.
tonight. The damage is what's holding them back.
I think you're spot on. I think it's the perfect strategy. You can see here, right here, so we're getting some feedback that he is clutching. So Sam, that tells us right there, just trying to save a little bit of that fuel.
Hold on, Brian.
Right, save
There you
a
go.
little bit of that tire too to make this long run to be where he can drive the car. Right there, engine gets a little quiet. He's gonna be able to save.
All right, you're gonna have some traffic coming back to you now.
Assuming you do that, he's gonna be able to save 5-6 laps of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're saving the fuel, you're doing your best to try to shut off and clutch and do everything in your power to save fuel. The big thing is how much time are you?
8th and 9th are kind of in their own little bubble. 10th is what's holding up the line right in front of you.
3/10 that you're giving up to the leader that continues to pull away, and every other lap you find yourself grazing the wall, and damage is something that iRacing has worked on a lot on how it reacts to these vehicles. It used to be kind of a glass cannon where these vehicles were so fast, but you touch the wall once and your race is over. And now it's gotten to a point where these next-gen cars can be tanks, but if you hit the wall at the wrong angle, you can break a wheel well, you can break a toe leg, you can have significant damage that will not even allow you to save fuel and be running fast enough to be competitive. So somebody machine needs to be careful. Also, again, Nick Crawford, part of that strategy of trying to save fuel to see if they can stretch it to the end of this race, if possible, as the field continues to race on. You can see there Crawford, he's also clutching it a lot further along than what we're even seeing from Aaron Smith II, and Crawford's running faster.
That's just adds excitement right now to what will happen as this race stays in rain. These drivers, they don't want to get too far back, like you said, though, Sam, maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds back, maybe 10 seconds back max, because when Zach Hall, Brian Kelly, and Sheer Jr., when those guys bolt on those fresh tires, they're going to be making up probably 5, 6, 7 tenths of a second just each lap on tires, plus but those guys are saving fuel. If they're losing 4 tenths of a second, you're talking maybe 1.5 seconds a lap. You'd better have a big gap if you're going to try and make this race all the way without taking tires.
92 laps to be completed for his.
Which car's a slow car?
He has been on cruise control up front. Let's see where the chaos is kind of melting.
They're kind of switching around a little bit. They just got by the guy that was up leading.
Vincent Sora. This is the battle for 10.
I believe it was Tom Bourne.
By that red and by that black and green.
He's on the outside, right?
Shane Therian was able to get around him.
Now you got the black and red and white machines. That's Tom Bourne on the outside.
Yeah, he's on the outside now, yeah.
Side by side, and the rest of the field.
They're double wide behind you, by the way. 14 down low, 17 up high. You got room, though.
It's cleanly, but Tom Bourne, he almost gets to that outside wall, tricky position, but just not the case. The 06 losing time, might lose another position.
Losing time, losing positions, but what they want to be doing. But the problem is, you got to get around and just
big run here.
Right there, says your Cunner. 06.
There you go.
Tom Bourne, they're going to get into each other. Are they going to get in coming out of this corner? No, they're able to give each other space, but
38 right front. A little bit of a checkup.
It was that momentum, so he was able to pull right
clear up
in front of Christopher Norris, but that's what makes this track so challenging. Hunter's going to try and get right back to the bumper, but now he's going to have Chris Norris to his outside, so that's going to add drama in this turn 1 entry for
14's behind you, so is 17. They're still too wide.
He's a little bit of the 8th frame. More spaces to drop down low. That pass will be completed. We're battling for 10th place. Shane Therian, Vincent Sora now get close to one another. As Brad Kennedy we're right on board with, not able to make any moves forward for himself.
Ain't easy.
Douglas Newbigging, GT Rosari, they're close, but it's Vincent Sora almost able to make the pass for that 10th place position. As Douglas Newbigging, again, driver that found himself another kind of self-throwaway of a race. A good run early in the first half of the race, and then a self-spin that ships him to the back that he has to work all the rest of the race to try to get salvage that top 10 finish.
That's going to be
clear up.
It's just how
you're good.
The pass, but right here he's trying to make the move to the inside under Chris Stitz. Got to grab that gear. You see right there, he's in gear 4. Is he going to come out of here, accelerate? Not going to be able to do it. Can't stay side by side with the 17 entering the corner. It just shows how hard it is to pass right here. 5th gear, expect him to
good launch. 17 still with you.
Do it though. He's going to stay in 5th coming out of
38's going to throw it in.
And when you're this close, I think it's more so if you get too big of a roll.
06 tag the wall.
You're slicing
right front.
side. you're more so just trying to salvage your way
outside.
Shifting down into fourth, but into the wall. It's going to be Douglas as he keeps his foot in the throttle in the area of the momentum.
Now 17 outside.
The corner, but you're trying to just stay close up front in this pack. But if you go too fast, you're going to be running each other over, and you're losing more time.
Still outside.
Oh, you do not want to ever be losing time, but unfortunately, Zach Hall just keeps pulling away from people. Speaking of time, he's now got it up over 7/10 over Ryan Kelly. It was under 4, about half a second for the whole run.
17 right front. They're kind of splitting you now. 7's on the right rear.
Out here on track. Right here we get this great view. That's what the drivers want to see when they're
outside.
Every growing view. It's going to behind you. It's now 8/10 growing. Isher Jr. is 1.7 seconds back. So Zach Hall, he's got extremely long run pace, but more importantly, he's also got the short run pace.
17 now outside. He tagged the wall, but he's still there.
He really is.
Hard on the wall now. Clear up.
Zach Hall can be giving kudos for John Forbes Jr. holding back Gavin Rogers as many laps as he's done so far. As we now start lap 100. 2/3 of this race is about to be completed. That's a 75 spin all race long to finally
06 just really bit the wall that time.
Moving up the fourth.
And
they're just
gave Doug Newbiging something to think about.
Down Zach Hall for that top spot.
And it will be fun to see what these two drivers do.
49 to go, Brian.
Closer to the pit stop. When do they make the pit stop? More importantly, does someone decide to do the undercut and get out there in front and then make the other driver pass? Or do you want to pit later and have the fresher?
You've got 44 in the tank.
Each driver, it will be fun to watch, but don't rule out the 71 or the 3 because they've also been running inside this top 5 for quite some time now.
And looking at drivers that are going to be in a weird.
Everybody ahead of you
entire
pit on the same lap.
The field.
Pretty much.
To go.
Yeah, everybody ahead of you pit on the same lap. Back on 64. Looks like Ken Campbell, that's 2 behind you. He came in on 70.
When they need to go into pit, get service.
And Nick Crawford came in on 69. Andrew Medlin, he's back in 25th. He also went in on 70. So you're on equal fuel and tires with everybody in front of you.
I do like that call from him, though. If this race, if he feels right now that the race stays green,
Shane Theory in low.
See what you can do.
He's going to have no choice but to give it to you.
Right now you come out, you're
clear
fast for 10 laps, maybe other guys start.
Good job.
And all of a sudden, if he can cycle to the lead, and then you get the lucky caution, maybe he gets track position, and everyone comes in and uses a set of tires again for the finals. 20.
All right, Brian, P13.
So it could be a great gamble that could pay off.
A couple of big moments we just had at once. You saw the almost collisions of this group that were 2-3 wide for a quick moment, and also the pass for third.
Yeah, this is a
down pit road.
Now
pretty good situation. We do need to think about pit though.
You're in a very quick sprint.
You cut it in half or what?
And a couple of more drivers thinking about pit road. Next one into his pit stall going to be Brian Noel in the 07. Drivers are not saying on the radio they're coming into pit road.
Yeah, we can do that.
Chat. This is just a.
You got 40 in the tank.
This call is
and 46 to go.
That's always hard when you're out on track.
He's not a champ contender.
Nah, obviously you don't want to run them over, but you run that risk if you don't decide to call it out.
We need to watch the champ contenders in front of me.
With the 75, we talked about it. We're going to start now watching that time. 2.6.
See what their strats are.
Lean.
Yep, Zach Hall, Ryan Kelly, they're leading 1-2. Ed Shearer right now is P4.
Closer to Zach Hall.
Larry Yingling's in P7.
Right now.
Vincent Soares in 9th.
2.8 seconds.
And you've got Cedric Hunter and Chris Norris right in front of you.
There really hasn't been a big enough fall off to where I'm concerned about him being run down. I mean, Hall is running incredible pace. He's still running 30.3 second lap times. Everyone else in the field, there's maybe 3 other drivers that are running.
What's my speed versus leader?
Everyone else is 2 to 3 tenths slower than Hall. Max, good.
I was absolutely just looking at that. Leader's last lap was the 31. Yours was a 27.
You might have just heard it was John Forbes slapping the wall for himself. Other drivers into pit road is Shane Terrian in the 9 machine getting service done. And everyone that pits, they are banking on this race to stay green because every time you go into pit road, you're going at least 1 lap down.
Going at least 1 lap down. But you're adding more and more cars out there that are on really fast tires. You're going to have to be really careful around drivers out here on older tires. Plus some of those guys that are also clutching it into the corners, slowing down a little bit more. So it's going to be really challenging for these drivers to make sure that they don't.
You were faster than the car ahead 3 of the last, actually make that 4 of the last 5 laps. So you're reeling them in.
He's worried about the 75 because he knows he was fast, but he's also knows that he's got really good long run speed. I think the big thing, Sam, is going to be when they all have equal tires, because Rogers has been passing cars all night, using a little bit of tire passing.
In the last 2 laps, 3 laps, you've gained about 3.5 tenths.
75 needs to run down at 32.
So I'm looking at how much time's going to be left in this race. Everyone that's pitting right now, they're hoping to build up a big enough gap that our leaders, once they decide to go into pit road, aren't able to run and catch up to. And looking at drivers that made the decision of
add another 1.5 tenths to that.
To pitted on that last caution we had of being Nick Crawford, Aaron Smith second. Looking at their difference of pace compared to those that just pitted, will they be raining down? Because Ryan Noel, as well as going to be Tom Bourne, they're going to be doing their best to catch up that 70 and 70.
That difference in line is all the difference.
What's the strategy?
Talking about that diamond.
Save fuel on this last caution, the better strategy, or was it to stretch it out your pace?
Yep.
Keep the track position.
Because he's not doing it.
Full bore to the end of this thing. As we're coming up to 40 laps to go, the call to come to pit road or
he's
not,
pit.
is going to be looming for a lot of these drivers.
All right, 38 is going down pit road. So is the 13. Yep.
Have a chance to go to pit road. I mean, go.
Cedric Hunter's a
That's Cedric Hunter and Chris Norris.
Here as Christopher Norris is heading.
Should I pit here?
We are going to be finding ourselves going side by side. So you
want me to?
Thing.
All right, that moves you up. That moves you up to P9. If you are, don't forget to adjust your brake bias. Let me set you up here right quick.
We'll be back right after this.
All right, I'll come in this lap.
You're all set. All right, you're all set. Let me give you back your spotter. Way to be aggressive, Brian. Good job. Max speed, don't speed.
Pit box in 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
All right, that's it. Go.
All right, Brian, come. Don't speed. Watch the blend line.
Be mindful, you only have one set of tires remaining. The leader just did a 30.4.
You're clear. Come on up. There you go. Good job.
The leader is pitting now.
There goes the leader. That'll pull some cars in.
Broadcasting. Oh, contact. Contact.
Yeah, he just blew pit road.
Gonna be able to hold on. 3 wide, 2 wide. Ryan Bird trying to be the hero. He'll force back once again to the center of the corner. Figure out how to get out of the way. Man, he racks off. He racks off across the line. The 15 wins. One last chance, one last opportunity. He's digging. He's climbing. He's right up the bumper. Walkie's gonna be made. Will there be contact? Here comes Rosen on the outside. Will he be blocked? Defended. Ryan Johnson hoping it will win. Here comes Vincent Sword to the inside, but it's not enough. Ryan Johnson wins. And it's going to be the 13th line ascent. He'll hold on, or will he cross the line? It's Cedric Hunter by a nose.
All right, the top 9 still have to go down pit road. You're clear? Outside.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Clear up.
we're still in the middle of green flag pit stops, and you're seeing those with fresh rubber just cruising by on the inside. That extra grip just able to make drivers make some pretty big moves. Right now, Ryan Kelly yet to pit. He is still out there on track, trying to have the biggest advantage on tires later on in this race. It might be banking on it if a yellow flag comes out. Zach Hall, Gavin Rogers both hit pit road, though, 2 laps ago together, and Hall currently has now moved up to the first driver, leading the race that found themselves pitting so far of
outside,
like
and clear
cycle. And looking at some of these drivers, the sequences.
Wave it, Aaron, as you go by.
Spot where Justin and I were talking about it during our commercial break. How long can Kelly stay out? Because there is an advantage for staying out for extra grip for a longer run.
Outside.
So staying out for too long.
Clear.
It's too big of a gap to even run down and catch up to your other competition.
Yeah, my big fear for Ryan Kelly would be is even if he does have 10 lap better tires than the guys in front of him, if he gives up 5, 6, 7 positions on track, you just hurt your tires trying to make those spots back. And will he be able to run down Zach Hall even with the newer tires? Is there going to be enough laps left? But Stan, we were also talking about there's so much action going on in this race with strategy. Is how about those guys that decided to stay out for fuel? Is now Aaron Smith the leader of that group, and then Nick Crawford, and I believe also Joshua Kanata. Those 3 drivers, I believe, are the ones that stayed out, and they're trying to stretch on fuel. I think those drivers might be in good shape to potentially get this victory if this race stays green.
It looks like if you don't gain any other spots, when everybody else pits, you'll be about 11.
And top off, the only drivers that topped off on fuel that are still out on track is Aaron Smith II and Nick Crawford. Crawford, though, we saw that he's being a little more aggressive on pushing his speed early in this run. In the 74, bid him now. He is now running 3/10 slower than Aaron Smith II, that was willing to save his tires, save his fuel a little bit more aggressively earlier in a run, which has enabled him to stay currently in 5th place on the board. We'll do some quick math of Zach Hall, who's still technically 1 lap down, but from where Zach is to where we find Aaron, it's about 15 to 16 second difference.
I'm guessing he was assuming I was going to back out.
He needs to run down to catch up to the 70 machine that is staying out. Presumably, this race is over.
I guess so.
That will be fun to watch.
He may not have saw the outside car.
We know Zach Hall has a fast car and he's got the tires, but the big problem's got to be
Is that guy behind me shifting?
on this 70 machine. Will the tire difference eventually equalize enough that he's not gaining enough time per lap?
Checking now.
After kicking away, we've got 26 to go, coming to 25 to go. I mean, this is going to be really close.
Going to be extremely close. Also looking at Gavin Rogers, who was looking like one of the threats for Zach Hall, who's been marching his way from the back of the field with his EOL penalty to the front. Gavin Rogers has been trying to
inside
possible, making 3 wide passes, making daring moves in and out. Right now, trying to get by drivers that are yet to pit, of Yingling, of Noel.
I really ain't racing him.
And take that back to Noel.
He about wrecked me, so.
It's just his tires are so much older, and right now Gavin Rogers still 3.5 seconds back from Zach Hall. He's lost a second since going into pit road.
Just gave you a little bit of a love shot to the backside.
Just a little.
Really start wondering,
out of 4.
Is the strategy call for Ryan Kelly staying out as long as he is? Because right now, if he does come in, he's
he love you.
20 laps new tires. I mean, we talked about the tires being good for about 25 laps. So right now he's has even less laps left than what the tires would give him. So I guess the strategy is open for that caution, and it traps these guys a lap down.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, that is the big thing. I was trying to do the math of
there it
even
is.
If there was
We're a lap down, Amy. Dang it.
When would you want to pit to gain this time back. And even if his caution is out, this is what exactly
yeah, I think it's the second car lap down too.
They're all
let me see.
down. We got 8 drivers left on the lead lap, and caution.
No, more than that.
It's
We'll have to stay out, won't we?
spun around. This changes everything.
It changes everything, and I have to wonder, would Aaron Smith do something like where he would stay out, Sam, and not let those guys even get the wave around? It would guarantee.
Yeah, there's like 9 guys that are ahead of you.
Because there would not
so, yeah.
9 cars on the lead lap.
Like, all right, I'm just gonna
that could be a play that he could potentially do.
Well, you could bet that they're all going to go down pit road, so you'll be able to.
On the lead lap.
You should get the wave around.
Here's the
or the
playoff
what you call it?
implications.
Yeah, give me the
Nada
full service too.
nose out of trouble.
Yeah.
He was banking on a caution, and instead, drivers that pitted for tires go for an overzealous move, and Andrew Medlin wasn't expecting to watch.
You don't need gas.
Coming down, and both look from the same real estate.
Give it to me anyway.
All right, 4 tires.
That is heavy damage for.
By the way, your tires last time were 86 and 92. In case you didn't look.
For Joshua,
give you full fuel.
Some front end damage, but not required damage.
I don't know how bad the handling is going to be.
It's Stafford who sits in pit road.
All right, done.
I mean, but really,
Somebody stay out.
Kelly right now, he may
giving you back your spotter.
Call to stay out.
All somebody's got to do is stay out.
Zero competition on pit road right now, so no worries of speeding. He's gonna have the lead coming out.
I don't foresee any of those guys staying out.
See him back there, so I am.
Who's up there right now?
No, all 8 leaders went down pit road.
All right.
But I thought maybe he would stay out, Sam, because he's guaranteeing himself. Like
Zach Hall
again, the free pass, but then all those other guys would not get that lap back.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming with that thought, but if you're Aaron Smith second, you got a chance to win this race. I mean, even with all
now
that
they're
you've
going
been
to be
dealing
battling.
with, you're still in a fighting opportunity. You're going to be 4th position once this service all gets done for some of these drivers. I mean, this is a golden opportunity to get tires, reset, and get back out there on track and have a chance to have one of your best finishes possible. And everyone else behind you, they're going to have so much older tires, you're going to have an advantage over them to keep the position you're in.
Yeah, very true statement right there. I mean, it's one of those things. We'll see how it all plays out. Like you said, he's going to have a chance to win. I guess I was thinking maybe he had a little bit of damage.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking it was going to let us around the pace car
it was
before
mainly he was
green.
saving fuel, that he was running a little bit off pace.
As the field is getting set up, we take a look at some of the drivers and where they settle on this restart. Top 7 going to be in a prime opportunity to take that back. Top 8 going to be in a pretty prime opportunity. Zach Hall will be sent to the end of the line, which will then turn it to our 7, where we have Ollie Fonseca, Nick Crawford, Aaron Smith II, Drew Jua, John Forbes Jr., Larry Yingley, and Ryan Kelly going to be on some of the freshest of tires. And Zach Hall will be able to come into pit road and get tires. The only issue is to start the end of the longest line because he was rewarded the lucky dog spot.
Yeah, that's going to be the problem for him. It definitely won't be a chance for him to probably try back to the front, but you never know. With only 20 laps to go, starting at the end of the longest line, he's going to put him back there in about, I would imagine he's going to be behind the lap down cars, with there only being 8. So he's going to be pretty far back there. Maybe about 20 cars are going to be in front of him on that inside of the line.
I mean, also with the amount of drivers taking the wave around, see if those drivers settle behind Zach Hall because of the lucky dog privileges. We'll see where they line up exactly, because Gavin Rogers and Noel, they all have to start behind him. It's going to be Cody Reed, Sticks. How many of those drivers are willing to take the wave around as well? So looks like a majority of the drivers that are even a lap down taking the wave around. So that's going to be leaving us Zach Hall. They will be just restarting in 9th place position.
Yeah, this is all going to be old tires here
Frustrated right
on a really aggressive restart.
A dominant car.
I think I know what's about to happen.
20 laps to go, and we're expecting these drivers to be a little pushy on this restart. There could be plenty of opportunities to get back up there and have a great restart. But it's
good thing I got the inside.
Eye in the sky.
Let's restart 2 of the drivers that are really good. A lot of respect between both drivers, but it's going to be a battle between both of them to get those points and also to lead laps. Ryan Kelly did lead laps.
Right now, it's not so much of a race as survival. We have to go to survival mode here.
Ryan Kelly entering tonight just 2 points over the cut line, where Cedric Hunter, Aaron Smith II, and Shane
Enter the
Tyrion
38
found
car.
themselves being tied. A lot of those drivers need some good runs, and with all the fluidity of drivers' positionings moving, we don't have the exact numbers on where drivers are at, but the field is still catching up to our lead.
Ready. Go, go, go.
Restart. This is going to be a tough one for the drivers further on back, but up front, Ryan Kelly, fresh rubber and clean track ahead. We are green with less than 20 laps to go here at Darlington.
And Darlington right here. John Forbes going to drive it in hard. We've seen him be really fast, ultra aggressive.
Ken's on new tires, ain't he?
15 looking inside, left rear.
I think he's not going to be able to do it coming down this back straightaway. He's actually going to potentially lose his spot to Drew, who's now back inside the top 3.
Drew Jua was able to muster.
Fresher tire. No, he's on the same tires I am.
7
Holy crap.
now.
But it's all Ryan Kelly.
Oh, no.
He's on pit road lap 118.
Kenya Mig is the first
Cut that part out of the video.
competition where he needs to pass them, as he's got Joshua Kanata into the outside wall to give him a chance for the 32. 7th position. Kanata.
Stay high.
Off one another, just come out into the corner for Zach Hall.
Ooh, bad recipe. Okay, you're good.
Points.
Out 7's outside.
Long. Don't throw it away.
I backed out of a 3-wide situation there.
Now going to be trying to clear up outside lane for himself. Rogers, 17 lap old tires.
I get you.
Under green. Hall just having about 2 laps of green flag laps under these sets as they continue to duel back and forth.
Man, I
really
thought we were going to run away with that.
Stay high.
He's going to be frustrated right now.
No caution yet. Stay in it.
The incident almost there.
Still no caution.
But right now he's going to try and regroup. A little under here under on all he can take it.
Trouble.
Keep going.
They're on the back stretch. Sorry to cut you off. Ken Campbell gets spun around. We stay green, but he is having
16 to go.
Get that machine rolling, but Zach Hall now put pressure back on Ollie Fonseca for 8th place.
I hate hearing about that for Ken Campbell because he's a driver who was having a great run tonight. A lot of times he was up there in the top 6, looking all kind of stuck up there in the ball. Zach Hall gets ultra loose coming out of that corner. Luckily, able to somehow, I think Ollie Fonseca really checked up to make sure he didn't run over it, but I mean, that was a really scary moment right there for 32.
I mean, these tires being in dirty air, this is a factor that Zach Hall has not been dealing with a lot here tonight. The only time that we've seen Hall really deal with lap traffic was when he got done with that green flag pit stop, and he was only behind drivers for a short time because he had to get
There you go.
of tires. This is the first time where he's on equal.
Next lane up is still clear.
It was so impactful. To
17 and 14 still side by side.
It's all about hold tight.
You are clear up.
That you can make it to the end of this race and just salvage.
14's gonna try looking inside.
Oh, Ryan Kelly as the laps tick away.
Down low.
Has not been catching up.
Clear.
Take my spotter.
Drew has been kind of settling. The all eyes for myself. At the in 4th place. What is John Ford?
Oh, yep, my bad.
Go for these passes.
I was getting all into it. Worried about what was going to happen.
As we say that,
You're good.
it's like Nick Crawford going to try and make a move to the inside of the 11 of John Forbes. Not going to clear him coming out of the corner. But going back to what you were just talking about, Sam, I just wanted to hit on something. Back at Indy, we talked to Zach Hall. He said that he felt he learned so much when he started in the back at Indy on how to pass and how to conserve the tire and how to drive all that dirty air, that it just wouldn't enable him to go out there and then drive to the front. Tonight, it's like the opposite. Tonight, he hasn't learned really at all what to do in traffic. He hasn't had a dirty air in front of him. He hasn't had to deal with passing.
I think he's been staying out of it, though.
You put him
He's
back
blocking
in
for me.
a spot that he hasn't been in, and maybe he's kind of got to learn on what these cars are driving like in the dirty air and the dirty traffic, and kind of caught him by surprise a few times.
Potentially could be the big factor right now is that lack of experience. It's hurting the 32, but a driver that's been having the highs and lows of an
Outside.
Crawford after being spun around multiple times. He runs in 5th. I mean,
Right rear clear.
driver that was tied for that cutoff spot just outside
I got you, Derek.
of our
That was a playoff driver.
position. And the 70 machine wanting every point possible. Was not able to grab big bonus points early on, but a great finish could change his fate to move on to the round of 12, and the round of 11 for the 70 machine.
The next playoff driver's in 14th, I believe.
Second, he's been a driver that I feel like all season long, we know he has speed, but it's been so under the radar compared to some of his teammates. I mean, Drew Jua runs.
Brian Johnson, sounds about right.
Jr. has some shocking moments throughout the season. And right now, it's Aaron Smith II trying to get a top 5 finish and hope and cross his fingers that it's enough points to move on to the next round.
You see the battle right there in front of Jewel trying to get under Larry Yingling for that important second place position. But as those drivers battle, Mike Kelly just continues to move further and further away. It's a half a second lead, and that might not sound like much, but we know a half a second.
Thing went downshift.
The way that this track just
pulled on it twice.
proves that you can make up time as fast as you can at other types of tracks.
And looking at the battle, that will just
tired.
It looks like Drew Jua, he was attempting to make the pass for second place position, backfires. He actually would lose a spot before it. Just showing if you're gonna make a pass, you better hope that it works on that first go around. Otherwise, you might not just lose back to where your position was in first attack. Might fall back for even more. Zach Hall, Joshua Kanata, you're right on board 32 on him. He's trying to pounce an attack on Kanata. They've already made contact and had some spills before. Hall trying to find the space, seeing the momentum to work forward. Kanata brushes the outside wall and has to back out of it. And Hall finally able to make the pass for 7.
Makes the pass for 7 from 8 laps ago. You have to wonder if he didn't have that slip up on the restart there when the 16 and the 32 were battling, would he have been able to make up any ground? I mean, it's
nice centering off,
staying right here with these guys. I mean, obviously we know how fast he is, but it's just, but then again, that lucky dog spot. I know he had to start a little bit further back, but maybe he's hanging right there. I don't know if he's going to be able to get up there and drive up into the top 3, but can he get a top 5?
It's going to be the big thing. 7 laps to go. Once we cross the line, it will become 6 for Ryan Kelly. We kind of noted on it earlier.
All right, outside.
It's a factor.
Right front, you and Shane side by side. You got the momentum coming off.
Have mistakes or the timing just lines up perfectly. And Ryan Kelly here tonight trying to get into victory lane and having another spectacular
that was for a position, put you P17.
3 potentially with 6 laps to go.
6 to go. Ryan Kelly looking great right now. The battle behind, that's really Larry Yingling, John Forbes. That's what the 3 wants. Get those guys side by side, but more importantly, the 3, he does not want a caution, doesn't want any late race.
5 laps to go, sir.
It kind of seems like they're a little bit spread out. The drivers up front in top 7, I can't see them wrecking each other, knowing that they all have valuable points. And then you see the big gap behind the rest of the cars out. All those other cars on older tires that took the wave around, they falling out of this picture. Sam, is going to come down to these top 5.
Who is willing to make the biggest move, biggest splash for any big positions? Are you willing to dive bomb a driver? Are you at this point with 5 laps to go going to make it 4? Are you just settling with where you're at because there's just not a lot of tire wear underneath these drivers to go for massive lunges to the inside? Looks like the gaps are just perfect. If you're gonna make a mistake, you better hope that it's not a big enough one to cost you a position, because everyone seems to be in line. And for the 3 machine, as we come up to 3 laps to go, Ryan Kelly, he just is counting down each and every lap.
Take it out. Side up. Okay.
Finally be thrown.
Waiting for those turns, counting them down. It's under 3 to go now. Just wants to get through this race, get that win, give him that momentum going into next week. That's always important. It's nice to come off a win. You see right there, the lap car going to pull down off the track.
Coming to 2 this time.
12 of Andrew Medlin. We saw the heavy impact that brought the caution out that changed this race for the 3. Right there, they're all getting by him. They're all getting a clean. Drew is going to try and make a move, but not do anything coming out of the corner. These drivers right now are kind of stuck, Sam. It's going to be hard to get those points, but coming to 2 to go.
2 laps to go here tonight for Ryan Kelly and the 3 machine. Larry Yingling as well. Drivers that were looking for just...
There you go, Derek. You think I can get about 15 of them?
He was pretty solidified in his points battle. He just needed to go out there, run a consistent race. John Forbes in 3rd for Kelly, who leads this race. It was simply down to you had to perform to be inside of the top 5 all night long. And with the white flag now out in the air, this white flag is official for Ryan Kelly. He just has to...
My 2 teammates, 1 and 2.
Find himself in victory lane and with no worries about the next...
And I'm back here pulling 17th.
As everyone...
They're going to kick me off that team.
Scampering behind him. It's been the 3, settling in 2nd. Needed a caution to have a chance to win. It popped up in Kelly with the strategy to find himself with a win to move on to the next round.
One more time.
Larry Yingling in second. John Forbes.
Hey, way to stay out of trouble.
Crawford going to round out the top.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're going to get knocked out of the playoffs on that one, though.
Getting that momentum for the next round is going to be huge for him.
1 point below the cut
A
line.
massive rush.
Shane Therian,
That's the
I
field.
don't remember if he's a playoff or not.
Now
Tom was.
Calculators. It's all about those bonus
no, you're
points
good.
where you
That's
finish.
So there's only 2 playoff drivers behind me. Everybody else.
Sucks, track
Because it
sucks,
was so
tires
close
suck,
to keep up with that we would just kept it.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that was.
Checkered flag was
I think we had to
thrown.
do what we had to
We'll
do
wait
there.
for official confirmation. Who's moving on to the round of
Yeah, we were so
11.
so
We
far
now-
spread
we
out.
now know 3 things.
I think that was the
Trent
right
jumps
call.
out. Drew
Everybody
Kelly
else was the one
locked
gambling,
in
I
with his
think.
win last week, and now
then they
Ryan
got it.
Kelly
They got that
will
caution.
fight for a chance at a championship. The round of 11.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. Thank you, repeat.
After
Thank you, Derek.
this, as our winner of Kelly gets to burn it down. When we come back, we'll talk to our top
You're
3,
welcome, bud.
Ryan Kelly, Larry Yingling.
We'll talk to you later, bud. Have a good night.
Spotlight driver
You too.
right after this.